volume.
And then I'll mute it later.
Okay.
All right.
Say less strong.
Okay, we're gonna be drawing. This is something that I've already started. I'll check it out here. We'll go. Let's see. We're gonna go to the gallery. Save what I got to the gallery. Show you what I started with. This is what I started with. Okay, I'll get it big here. Kind of a cartoonish style children's book, basically. When I first started out trying to get the feeling of the tree the tree branches that I wanted to draw. Okay, it's kind of simple, but okay, you can see the different kind of strokes I use. I've just sketched it out. Okay, and this is let's see, this is kind of the orientation. It's kind of coming from the side. That's the way it's going to be in the picture. But just wanted to get a feel for it. You know, I'm just sketching, I'm just shading and, you know, going fairly quickly. And then once I had that, I brought it over to another screen and then took some branches off and kind of started finding tools in my toolbox in here to change things. I'm trying to make bark, you know, make a little bit more realistic. So let's get back to this one, and then we can zoom in and see things. So here's more. I found this tool right here. Show you over here. This little tool right there, and you can make it any size you want, and that's basically what you get when you use this tool. So I can take that, and that's kind of what you get depending on the pressure you use. Okay, you can get thick or small. And I went, you know what, I'll just try that. And then this is the result of that on different layers of using that with blacks, grays, and whites. So I just started kind of crisscrossing stuff around and then seeing what came from it. And then we'll just back that up, take all that stuff over there. And then I started refining things and then erasing things and making them thinner, thicker, more three-dimensional. I've been working on this little area because I don't know how to make bark or to make branches or anything, so it's all trial and error for me, but I can tell when something don't look quite right. Like right here, I've got this branch and it's going away from you. As you can see, it comes here, then kind of comes back here, then goes away from you, and then juts off and goes in different directions with the, you know, smaller and smaller and smaller. But right here, I can tell, since I'm working on this little area, everything's, you know, still kind of rough. You can tell through here, it's kind of, you know, it's blurry or rough in areas. It's not great, but right here, it looks flat, like I flattened a branch out. So that's what I'm going to work on right now, is just trying to round this out so it looks more, you know, like a branch rather than something that's kind of like weirdly flat. You don't usually see branches that are like flattened out like that. So maybe in some cases, but I'm just going to try to, while you guys are watching me, I'm going to flip it around and try to take this and make a roundness to it from this area on. See where this looks round already? This does not. And then it goes back to, you know, even though it's roughly done, it still looks like it's got a shape to it, you know, like a branch. But that little area looks like the branch is round through here, and then it just kind of flattens out. It's a little got a little bit of a dome shape to the top, but it looks like the underneath is like flat. So I'm going to try to remedy that right now. So we'll get it big, get it in front of y'all. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try to take this area here, this white area, and narrow it so there's a little bit more dark area on this side of it, because the light, I've got the light. So this is the orientation for you guys. The light is coming from back here, going this way, kind of like this. So it's coming on this side of it, and then everything underneath and to this side of the branches are dark. That side's light, this side's dark. You can see here, light, dark. You can see the, and so same here. So, but now I'm just gonna get it to where I orientate it differently for me. So we're gonna narrow this white area so it doesn't look so flat, and see if that helps out. Just like this has got a narrow white area, it looks more rounded. Okay, so let's do this. And this is an elbow. That's too big. So I'm just gonna change the size of that so it doesn't get too big with my pressure. Because the harder I hit, the bigger it gets, the lighter I go. But I don't want to have to just use super light. I want to be able to go heavy. That's how I draw. So, but as thick as I want it for what I'm going to try to do here. So I'm going to back all those out of there. I could erase it, but I want to get that spot that I did there too big. So here we go. I'm going to take black. We'll go all black, and then just kind of take and get the back side of that a little bit darker. Come a little bit further in here in the crease. Once it makes that, because it's going away from you, at the same time it's turning. So we'll make a little crease there. And okay, and I'm going to take a lighter color, change the color. There we go. Just little gradients of black to white. So this is going to be gray, a little grayer, a little lighter than the total black. And we're going to go a little bit lighter to showcase a little bit more of that. And then we're going to go back. You can thing with this thing, you can go over and over and over it. Obviously, the paint doesn't get any thicker, so you can just go over things and redo things. And then I'm going to back off and see if just that little bit of shading. So now this white area is thin. So we're gonna back off and see what it looks like. Still looking flat to me. So we are going to get back here, and we're going to take white and pure white, and then this is actually too small for me. There we go, a little bit bigger. We're gonna go white right in the middle, make it solid if we want, just to get that cylindrical shape. I'm looking for a cylindrical shape here, and I'm just not having it. So we went from dark to gradient light over here. I'm trying to go this way, trying to make it shaped like this. And now we're gonna go on the other side and do a little gradient action and make the very bottom. I'm doing some of this upside down here. There we go. I'm used to it the other way. So I'm gonna go completely black on the bottom, add a little bit to it, and then go a little bit grayer right here. Spotify it there. And I'm going to lighten up this other side of this so it separates this branch from this branch. I mean, the branch going this way to the branch going this way. So there's a little bit more separation through here, so it doesn't look just one blackness. So I'm going to take a little bit lighter, and then we'll deal with it later once I get the look I want, and then we'll fix whatever I need to be fixed. So we'll just lighten that up just to make a difference right now. We're just making a difference between this way and this way. And now we're going to back up, and we're starting to see that this branch is starting to get a roundness to it rather than a flat branch, which is what you do not want. You want it to look as realistic as possible. So I'm going to go a little bit lighter. We're doing a little bit more gradient action on this area. Making that white line thinner, so it looks like it gets darker as it goes underneath it and lighter as it comes towards the point of where the sun is, and then darker on the other side gradiently, if that's even a word. And then I'm going to make this crease a little bit. I'm going to make this crease a little bit darker just so we can see the difference, and make it come around this way so you know it's like in front of the other piece. So we're going to take black and just kind of make it kind of like that. See what comes from that, and then we'll lighten up the very tip of it because it's pointed towards the sun. Give it a little shine. And we'll just kind of break it up because it's bark. All right. And we'll back that off, see what it looks like. Look at it from a different perspective. See, now that branch looks rounder just because I took that white whole area was white. It was very wide. Now I've thinned it down to where the sun is just shining on the closest, you know, on your arm. That's like the closest area to the sunlight is, like, you know, right through there. See how this is darker and getting gradient? That's a little bit light because it's got the what you call it, iPad in front of it. But your lightest area is right through here. Then it gets a little bit darker over here. This is flat though, and this is rounded.
I never knew how to put light placement.
Yeah.
Highlighting and shadows is where I was struggling.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to put lighting placement.
I'll tell you, at anything you do, okay? Well, let's just see this for what it is here. Anything you do, there's going to be usually one source of light, and you choose it yourself, okay? If it's a tree, you know that it comes from above or from sideways, wherever you want the light to come from. Because if and you choose that spot, and then this is what you do. You take, I'm just going to change the color, and I'm going to put a dot right here. That is my light source. And with that dot, I'm saying that it's not just, you know, it could be directly above it. It could be, you know, on an angle this way. Instead of being like directly like this above the thing, it's coming more on an angle, like from way back here, shining on your tree. So you choose that, and then you stick with it. And it doesn't change. No matter what part of this tree you do, the sunlight's coming from the same place, or the light source, okay? Just like right here, there will be shadows that I'm gonna put, that I know that are directly from where I put my sun, and it's shining on this area right here. Well, this side's gonna be shadowed, this side's gonna be bright, because the light's coming like this, always, okay? And with the sun, everything usually is on the same exact plane. So this gets light, This top piece gets light. Okay, everything on top gets light where my light source is, which is, for all intent and purposes, it's right there. Everything's coming like this. Everything hits the same way. Light on this side, dark on the underside. This makes a shadow because the light's making a shadow. So you put a shadow where this is above that. All right. And light here, light's coming from here, shadow on the other side. Every piece is going to have the same dynamic. Every piece. Anything that's going to be in front of the sun, everything that's going to be in front of the sun or exposed to it gets that light strip right through here. Okay? And if it's all underneath it, it's all black, and then you might have just a thin stretch of light. But go back to this little piece here. It's round. It's a tube, basically. So when you see a tube and you see a light on it, it has a thinner, wonder if you can see it on the pen. There is that light, the white strip in the very middle where I have light above me is shining, okay? And then below, it's dark. And you can play with the intensity and make this really black underneath here if you were drawing it, and this really pure white, and it's just more of a dramatic look, but it's the same concept. Whether you do it, this is a white pen, so it's going to go from white to a light gray is the darkest area, just because of the place I'm at, the light that I have, okay? Your surroundings. So what I was saying about sunlight, it all goes on one angle. Everything basically is going to be going on mine. It's like this, okay? It's not above it, but it's like coming from way back here up in the sky. Okay, so it's on an angle coming this way. So everything is the same on that whole picture. When you're inside or you have one source of light, you choose where the light comes from, and what happens is I'm going to create another layer here just so I can show you, so I don't have to erase anything. So I just chose another layer over here, so I just went plus, and it makes another layer. So we got one more layer right here. It's going to go above this stuff so I don't have to erase anything. And I'll use a pencil or a pen. All right, now if you're inside and you choose the light to be here, right here, let's see, where are we? Right there. You choose the light source to be right here in the corner, same place, but with one close proximity light, you're going to get rays that go, let's see, I got to make that a little thicker so you can see it. Excuse me for a second. We'll make it thick. So the light rays will come here, they'll come here, and they spread out like this, okay? Because it's in close proximity, it's going to look different up here than it is down here, because the light's shining, like like from one spot real close, and then the shadows will be a little bit different. They'll be on this angle, and then they'll be on that angle, and then they'll be on this angle, because it shines out like this. From the sun, which will, the sun will be like this. Just like that. Wherever you choose your sun to be, if you choose the sun to be coming from this way, they're all going the same way. Everything will get the same shadow at the same angle. The only time you change that is when you have a smaller or a centralized light that is in closer proximity. Even this, on a large scale, when it's coming from the sun, it does have some properties of, going to the horizon, but it's so, when you're talking close-ups like this on a branch, it's going to be pretty much parallel. You know what I mean? You won't see the difference in angle to a horizon or anything like that. because it's just a picture of a tree with sunlight hitting it. Basically, every shadow is going to be in the same direction. Every high spot where the light hits it will be in the same direction. So you always put your high spots at the same spot. So I will come back here and take this this branch right here, high spot of the tree where the light hits it here. It's hitting it here. Okay, that's where it's the lightest. Right there, right along this ridge is my brightest little area. So if it hits it there, then it hits it here. Okay, this is going to be shadowed on this side, brighter on this side, because that's where the light hits it. The light hits this thing right there. Okay, and then there's a shadow of this one here, but again, it hit right here, so it's the same tube, so it hits in the exact same spot. Shadows on the same exact shadowing from here to here. It's a big tube, even though it's tapered. You can get into complex things like that, but basically it's a big tube. And then you follow it around. I got it kind of going this way. This is on the back side of the sunlight, so this one's kind of this tube's going this way. This little tube right here is going kind of that way, this way. So you're not going to see any highlights. It's all going to be kind of dark on this side because you don't see the highlight. You don't see that side. It's behind this. It's behind here. So there's no shadowing, trying to make that look any different. It's all dark. It's not on the high point of where the sun hits. And here we go. This one goes this way. This one slightly goes this way. But the sun is coming from the same area. So just take it section at a time. You have a different area. You go, okay, where's my sun? It's coming this way. So you take this little area right here and go, this is where my highlights are. This is where I would put my sun shining areas. Look at, right? Sun's coming from here. This is same. Okay, so this is different. So still sun's coming from right here. This is going to be your brightest spot because it's closest to the sun. And then this area is right in the middle, basically, of the sun. I made that like it's like bright. The sun is really bright right there. See how it just changed? I just have an airbrush right there, and it did like a whole area. Like you can do the whole thing like that. Gets a little brighter. Okay, just go around my highlights. There's my shadow, so I don't do anything right there. You can maybe touch it there a little bit, but most of it's right here. I just made the sun brighter, almost like it's, how it gets, like the shadows are really dark and the sun shines really bright in areas and at dusk. That's the look I just gave it, just because I know where the sun's coming from. And just like this here. There's not much of a difference in gradient, but watch, I'll use the same little airbrush I got, and the sun's hitting it from the same angle every time. So now I got this section. Where's the sun? Coming from here. So I just take that one area and brighten up where the sun hits it. It's almost right on the very tippy top, right on the very edge, so there's no dark edge where the sun hits. There's going to be a dark edge here because it hits the sun hits it differently. But when you got different things, you just take a section at a time. This section, then this section, then this section, and then this section. Anytime you get a difference, you step back and go, where's the sun hitting it? If it's hitting it here on this one, well, then it's hitting it here on this one. So where's the sun for this section? Where's the sun for this section? Where's the sun for this section? It just kind of, it breaks it down a little bit more simply. And I'm telling you right now, I'm like, you can see there's a difference in how I'm doing this area here. This was more sketched out. I just wanted light and dark and shapes. I still have to fix this. This gets a little small too quickly, but I wanted it to come down and loop around. So this branch comes out, goes down, and then it loops behind it and continues on away from you. So I had to kind of figure that out, that you're going to see part of the loop, and then part of the sunshine coming through on this branch here, the one that comes underneath it here. You're going to see the sunlight here and just a little bit of it because it loops around and comes out this way. So you'll see it twist around. So it's dark, 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 and then a little bit of light comes to the top once you make that loop, because the sunlight sees that right through there. Sun's coming from the same place, sees it through there. Just that little piece that's on top of this branch right here. But I will make a decision on how this looks from a distance and see if I want it that or more like, you know, trying to make a bark, you know, more of a rough bark look like this here. Okay, that's just, like I said, I'm experimenting, you know, I'm learning as I go. That's one thing with my drawing. I'm always having to relearn how to do things or learn stuff for the first time, because this does not look like bark far away or up close. But we'll go to a different subject here, and like I said, I found this little tool that makes you know, this, just that texture. There's many tools in here, many textures, but this one seems to do very well for making bark for some reason. Oh, where are you? There we go. We're gonna go dark. It's because I got a lot of light in there, but we're just gonna, once I got my lines in there, now I can take and highlight things. We're gonna make that black. Black. And then I'm just gonna take, instead of do it randomly, just like chick, 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 I'm gonna take whatever lines I've got and then highlight the dark sides, because this, now the sunlight, I've changed this around so the light's coming from here. So anytime I got a light spot, I take on the other side of it is going to be dark. So I gotta get to the right, we're gonna go up there. All right. Because I was drawing underneath it, but here I just take and darken up the sides of the bark. And now that's gonna give it more of a 3D illusion, because I got a light spots and I'm taking and shading each line that I've drawn here. Check it out. This is all kind of like blends together. Now we'll take, because it's thick, deep bark. So I'm going to take any place there's a high spot where I've taken my pen and made white spots. Then I'm going to take the side of it right next to it and darken just darken the sides of the light sides. Just go to one side of it. Everything's on one side, just on this side of it. So here we go. We're just taking each line and then making a dark line right beside it on the dark side where the sun makes a shadow. Okay. And then we'll take it with the dark, see what that looks like, and then if we need to, and you don't want to go in the same exact direction, because bark, you know, heavy bark like this is random. You know, kind of follows a pattern, but it's more of a natural randomness. So you just kind of, like I say, make shadows on each side of the strokes that I made before. And then if it's too intense and we need some intermediate, like a gray, we'll just color it gray, and then kind of hit the tops and the sides of them that aren't so we'll say, like, you got it like this. If you have something that sticks up, the sunlight's shining here, the sunlight shines here, it's going to be black because it's just like night and day. If you have something that's on an angle, that's going to be grayish, and then it'll get darker as it comes down here, because the light's coming from this way, hitting it. Okay, so something that's not drastically light, white to black, it'll be a gradient somewhere in between. So with bark, you're going to have that. So we're going to just do a gray in between and change randomly through here and make it three-dimensional instead of just two-dimensional with the black and the white. And you don't have to be exact with this. Okay, now that we'll just say that I got the texture I want, and now that I've changed the texture, I've flattened out my bright spot where the sun is, which is coming from this way. So now I want to see how flat that looks right there. All I have to do is pick where my sun hits the closest area to the sun, which is, you know, the rounded area that the sun's hitting like right there. So we're going to choose that spot and then choose white or almost white, and then just concentrate in this area only in the same direction, but it's just making more white spots than there are dark spots randomly, but in this area. Make that more definite between the two here. Okay. So it's going to be more bright than dark. And then I'm going to gradient this a little bit more and make this a little bit darker through here because I just put a lot of gray, a lot of black, all the same. So now we're going to go black and then just hit so it darkens up some of the areas randomly. You don't go, you just want to hit different spots, go over the white, go over the gray, and now it goes from black, almost black, and dark gray to a light gray, a little bit of black, a little bit of white, and now we've taken, but you don't want to go over the white part because that's your brightest area on your cylinder, and now you're going to darken up the other edge, which is not as bright as, like I said, you got a cylinder there, you know. There's going to have one spot where the light hits. It's going to be darker on this side a little bit and darker underneath, okay? Because this top of this is closest to the sun. There's just a thin line. So we're going to darken the edge a little bit more, make it more prominent, and then less and less as we get to the white.
Okay, hold on.
Am I running out of juice?
You're down to like 4%.
This one's going to run out of juice too because I don't have it plugged in.
Uh-oh. You want to use this for that instead? How much is the percent for that?
And let's see. It is down to 22 from 45.
Okay. What did that say?
That's all right.
Oh yeah, it's 4%. If I can scoot this up here, and then I can put it under here. There we go. Now I gotta push that back in. That's the face that's talking.
That's me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay.
You're doing your best. Yeah.
Okay.
I got
this would go up. That doesn't go up at all, does it?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's okay.
Let's first put that in this. And then once we get that
Sorry,
side.
everybody. Just trying to put it in the little slotted area there. There you go. All right. You have to put it way back for that one. Maybe up that high. There we go. Okay. Some moves.
I wonder if I could put it up here. Oh, set your shirt. Okay, do I need it?
You either need it way back there,
Okay.
and then zoom in.
Just one step at a time.
Ooh.
Gosh. This thing is like the most tightest. Lord, let's just call it a day.
All right, that's probably enough for the day.
I mean, unless you want to wait till it goes
Yeah,
out. Or,
Well, I'm gonna put you in here. Okay.
you make it look that easy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
She just like
So anyway, where were we working? We're working this little area right here. So now you can see, we'll make it big. It's not done, but I've got, you know, good texture at this point. All right. And I'll probably, clean it up and then shade in more the little individual areas. I'll just, get it nice and big, and then I'll get it defined. I'm going to take the black where some of this needs a little more definition. Okay, just I'm making my individual little bark pieces where they would look on a tree. So I'm just going random where it would be dark on the bark. So I will do that, but let's look at it from afar and see the difference. I'll tip this up even. From afar, if you're looking at it from this distance, because this is going to be big and it's going to be on a wall, probably at least 2 foot by 2 foot, and you're going to be seeing it about, yay far away. So some of it, when you're not, like, that's kind of cool looking. It's not precise at all, but it shows high spots, low spots. It shows, the branch and it looking natural. I might go with that and then change all this, same composition, but just change the strokes to be a little more loose, because at a distance, it kind of looks like a tree branch with the right shading on it. And when you get close to it, you see that it's just a stylized, stroke. It's just, I just kind of blotched some colors in there, and I knew this is supposed to be dark, and put little highlights in there, a little bit lighter than black. And then I went a little bit gray through here, and then just sweeped some white through the top. That's all I did. I just did the basic shape, drew it out, and then just colored it in just like that. And it kind of looks cool. But I like detail a lot sometimes too much. But from a distance, this one with all the little bark on there, we fixed the roundness of that area pretty good. We'll go back to that. But it looks, it's getting some realism is what I'd like to say, is because we got a shadow in here. Shadows are real important when it comes to realism or getting stuff to look correct, because if you had shadows on the wrong sides of stuff, it won't look right. It just won't look right. So you just got to choose an area where the sun is, or your light source, and that's where every piece gets highlighted. The closest to the sun gets white or light. The furthest gets black or dark. Okay? That's all there is to it. And then when you're inside, it like spreads out and goes, kind of like this. So you have to make a little bit of adjustment, and it'll be brighter on this side of that branch. If this was inside, it'd be brighter. You wouldn't have that dark. Let's see. You wouldn't have that dark area down there. Let me use my pen. You wouldn't have the dark area down here. It'd be brighter right there because the light source spreads out. So it spreads out, and you'll light up different area of your little cylinder because you've got centralized lighting instead of the sun coming down on it. And then as the light hits down here, it's on this angle. Okay, if the light source was right there, it'd come down here and hit there. Over here, it hits here. Because up here at the top, you just go straight across. The light's going to go this way, just like a slice of pie from the middle. It just goes out. So it would be lighter here and darker there. And then over here, it's lighter on the side. And then this will be darker up here. The light would be on the very edge of it over here instead of in the middle of it. Because it's just, centralized light is different. It spreads out. So, anyways, and then I'm going to show you, now that we're kind of done with today's lesson, if you will. And then I'm just going to save this to the gallery, save to gallery. And then we'll look at, let's see here, my leaf. Same concept with everything you do, okay? The light comes from one source. If you see on these droplets, no matter which way the droplet's facing, like this one's rolling down this way, this one's rolling down this way, this one's setting up on top. But if you notice, the highlights are coming from up there, and it hits there, okay? Same thing, hits there. On that edge, it looks different because the droplets are in different shapes, but it all comes from the same area. Highlight right there. Highlight right there. Sun, it's more parallel, so it's like here, it's all the same. So just like this one, even though the droplet, this one looks like, you know, the light source, if you were to just draw this individually on a piece of paper, you know, the light source is coming from there. Well, then you'd make this one, the light source is on the top of the little oval, but it's still it's all coming from the same place. Every highlight that I have comes from the same place. And then we can get into how to make droplets. Like, we'll take these two here. I mean, we can save it for another time, but they magnify and they reflect light weirdly. You know, you got to think of it a little bit different. So we can talk about that on the next edition, if you will. Maybe we'll do that, but we can continue with the other one, or we'll do this one. Don't matter. We can do all kinds of them. I'll just put this back to the gallery. I tell you what, we can choose gallery, save. My eyes are bad. Save to gallery. I don't want to lose anything. But we can pick any one of these, like, you know, a little modern art. Those same. This is a light source to make everything, you know, try to look 3D. This is all total light source. It's coming from, let's see, which way do I got it coming from? It's coming from over in this corner. Okay? Centralized. It's not outside. I got a light way over here. It could be way off into the room, but it's still coming this way. Okay? And then everything I make, the light comes from the same area. This is dark because it's like a pyramid shape, right? It's coming up like this. So dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. All, no matter what shape I do. Okay? Get this over here. Light comes from this way. So if I were to shade this differently, if I were to shade this part dark and that part light, it would look like it was going in instead of up in a pyramid. It would go down in a valley. This is very deceiving because if you don't have the same, you know, if you don't know where the light source is coming from, because these could look like this is a peak instead of a valley. So, you know, you have to have the same light source. All right, and this comes this way, this way, this way, because it's an indoor light basically. All right, same basic direction, but it hits everything just a little bit differently, but kind of in the same area. So everything you do, light comes from one way. So if you make, you know, you just shade around it. Darker, the further away from the light, the darker it gets. Or the more it faces away from the light, the darker it gets. Light, dark. Okay, this is the top parts towards the light. Look at my ring. You can tell that it's shaped like this. It's dark here, source of light right at the very peak of the tube here. I've got some light. Now I got dual light sources because I got a window over to the side. We got a light up above and a window. I mean, you can get complicated with stuff like that, but you don't have to. Just take out that light. You get the picture. You know what I mean? And we can go over some, not just shadowing, but highlights. You got shadow and highlights on these things. The highlight, the teardrops or whatever water, it shines the opposite way of the way where the sunlight comes in. The top, like a piece of glass, will have this little shiny part on top, and then inside, the light goes through the water and illuminates the opposite side. It's like a parabolic curve, basically, that shines the light back up, so you can see the light on the bottom, rather, where the light comes from, and then the top of it is actually shadowed. Wherever the light comes from, the darkest spot is where the light comes from, and then you can put your top sheen on the glass part. It's almost like a mirror on droplets. It's like you got glass on top, and then the silvering is underneath it, underneath the glass. So this gets like you can see like a sheen on the top to tell you that there's a upper layer. So you put a light spot here, but the light actually goes through the glass and then reflects from the back of it. That's where you get the droplet, is the same concept. It's like a little mirror down on the bottom where the light hits the droplet from the top. It's like a mirror on the bottom, and it goes through the glass and hits the silvering of the mirror. Same concept. And then you just can repeat that. I'll show you how to do these next time. Hope you got something from it. Hope you had a good time. I like to draw. This is Joe. We'll see ya. Get me off of here. I don't know how to stop this thing. How do we stop it? Is there a stop button?
Yeah, you trying to end it?
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Are you all ready to end it?
I'm ready to end her.
Oh, are you showing them the bubbles?
Yeah, I'm just.
Is
Yeah.
that the next live?
Yeah, if they want to do that instead of more of the tree bark and the tree sun shining on the tree.
Did they decide what they want to do yet or not?
I don't know. I haven't seen
Did it
anything.
say,
I've been.
comment? Oh my gosh, we're up close with you. Look at.
Oh shoot! Right in my face. Hello. So. But yeah, they can choose any of those that we did. We can.
Okay, so you got. Hey, Diamond
lot to choose
Cutter.
from. I got other ones we can choose from, but
This is the husband, Diamond Cutter. I don't know if you ever met my husband, but you've seen him cook. He's doing drawing on this channel. It's so good to see you, Mama.
we can do cartoons, whatever you want to do. I got. Let's see. Our doggies.
I'm gonna aim it back down.
I'll put it up there.
Okay.
But if you want to, you do cartoon characters. We can we can do cartoon characters if you'd like. Anything.
So in the
we can try
comments,
something.
any replays, anybody watching replay, just leave a comment in there if you'd rather do cartoons, more of a natural setting, or
If you just want to watch me draw something, that's fine.
yeah, this is like show them
Or
that one.
Tweak something.
Bye, baby. I love you. Give me hugs.
This is-
Have a good day at work, honey. I'm gonna make dinner tonight. We're having chicken chili, and I'm making a
Okay,
cake.
just sketching.
Okay. That's what it looks like if we do just sketching, or he does just sketching, and then he chooses to color it in. So, whatever in the replay crew, the regular people, anybody, whatever you want to do, just gonna give them a heads up.
Yeah. Well, I'll take your comments and we'll work with them. See who wants to do what. If you want to do anything at all. But, we'll just see how it goes.
All right, and then up here there's an X. That's where you do it.
That's where I do it.
Yep. Till next time.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Till next time. All right. Boop. End.